guys, Mr. Catlin here. We're looking at your homework for our lesson 7, and I went ahead and drew on here a little bit because I didn't want to take a whole lot of time. I went over this in several of the classes, but on the first one, you're looking at 3 graphs, and each of them compare diameter of a circle to a different other part of the circle. So this first one right here, because it's curved, the only one that we've ever done in class that had a curve to it was when we related those estimated areas that we had. And so I put area up here, and this was the diameter. It grew, but it had a curve to it. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on these other two. Okay, this one right here, I marked it as radius because when the diameter was 4, that was 2. When the diameter was 8, this was 4. So it was always half the size. So it made sense to make that one the radius. It had a constant of 2. When x was 1, it was half. Circumference, on the other hand, this one is what I labeled this one because when the diameter was 1, the value was a little bit bigger than 3. So that tells me, oh, that's probably pi. And the only relationship that had a constant of 3.14 was between diameter and circumference. So that's why I picked those in that way. And then I want to talk a little bit about the second question. This is a throwback to way back when we had scale copies. Okay. Now, if I had a scale copy like diameter of circle B is 3 times bigger than the diameter of circle A, it means it's 3 times bigger as far as the side lengths, diameter to diameter. That means I had like a scale factor of 3. And so we learned whenever you had a scale factor of 3, you could scale up its area, which was 500, by multiplying it by the scale factor squared. And the scale factor squared here is 9. So if you do 500 times 9, you would find that the area of the bigger circle B is 4,500 square inches. All right, so let's get into the ones that actually were more related to what we talked about the last recent weeks. Lynn's bike travels 100 meters when her wheels rotate 55 times. What is the circumference of her wheels? Okay, so when her wheel goes once, that is the circumference. All right. When it goes 55 times, it goes 100 meters. Right. So if this happened 55 times, then it goes that far. So if we simply take 100 and divide by 55, that will tell us what her circumference is, because we would take away all of those rotations and we'd boil it down to, okay, how far are you going per one rotation? So we're going to do 100 and divide it by 55. So let me pull up my calculator here, and we'll do 100 divided by 55. It's probably going to be around 2 because 100 divided by 50 would be 2. So when I do 100 and divide it by 55, I get 1.81 repeating. So let's go back to the problem. 1.81 repeating. What is the circumference of our wheels? That is our circumference. So there's our answer right there, 1.81 repeating. Find the circumference of this circle. Well, judging by this, we know that the diameter is equal to 15 centimeters. And we know that circumference is found by just taking pi and multiplying by diameter. We could make a table for this. We know that diameter to circumference has a relationship of pi, or 3.14. So if we do 15 times pi, we'll have our answer. So let's do 15 times pi. So let me clear this. 15 times 3.14. 47.1. So 47.1 is our answer there. 47.1. And then lastly, let's get my ugly face out of the way. Priya drew a circle whose circumference is 25. Claire drew a circle whose diameter is 3 times the diameter of Priya's circle. What is the circumference of Claire's circle? Okay, so let's make a diameter to circumference chart. Okay, and let's start with Priya's. So this is Priya's. We know that Priya's has a circumference of 25 centimeters. So we should be able to, since we know the multiplier to get over there is 3.14, we can come back with division by 3.14. So if we divide 25 by 3.14, which I'll do next, 25 divided by 3.14, we'll get about 8. We're going to go with 8. That's pretty darn close to 8. So we're going to go back, and that's really close to 8 centimeters. Claire drew a circle whose diameter is 3 times the diameter of Prius. So 3 times bigger would be about 24 centimeters, right? So we find the circumference of hers by multiplying 24 times pi. 24 times pi, 4 times 3.14 would be about 75.4, roughly 75.4. So let's go back to this, 75.4. Now we also could have done that by just multiplying 25 times 3 because this is a proportional relationship. That relationship vertical could also happen. So a couple of different ways you could have got there. 75 and 4/10, about 75 I would accept. And that's help for lesson number